Ben Bridgeman, isn't it?
Ben Bridgeman.
Ben Bridgeman in the house. We've done a bit of a shoot so far. When did you start comedy? You started and stopped?
I started in 2016, I think early 2016.
2016.
And then stopped in, I don't know, like halfway after, like two and a half years.
Yeah.
Am I saying why I stopped?
Why did you stop?
Why did I
ask the question? Why did you stop?
Why did I stop? Well, I had a breakdown.
Which is normally a question I ask later on in the thing about like a dark kind of question.
It always gets dark quickly.
We might put this on later on, but let's do it now. You had a breakdown.
Yes. So it was. I think what happened, and it wasn't to do with comedy. Like I don't think it was because of comedy. It was, so maybe context. I'm sober, so I got sober quite young, like clean and sober from drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And then got into therapy, just like pretty sort of standard. And it was, I think, like what happened, and I think this happens after, like it takes people, you're sober for a while and then you start like feelings, you start getting to grips with like, you know, stuff that is like behind the addiction, you know, stuff that's like.
Is that part of this, did you go on the 12-step?
12, it's 12.
Why are they talking? I saw the play with Martin Freeman.
Because the joke is that the 13th step is when people fuck newly sober people.
Oh, that was.
So that's the, yeah, I'm sure that's the joke. So that's like, so you don't, it's bad, 13th stepping.
Yes.
13th stepping is
Which, have you
discouraged.
Not seen the play, have you? You didn't see
I've not seen it.
Oh,
so that's, but also because, you know, like,
I didn't know that.
because if someone, you know, wants to, there's a steady supply of very vulnerable people.
So
if someone is of that disposition.
Have you been a sponsor yourself?
Technically, I am. Yeah, at the moment, I am.
Right.
He doesn't really call me that much anymore.
You're not on the 13th.
And I've never 13th stepped.
I didn't know that. It's
Here.
fascinating.
Well, it's rife in the comedy world as well, isn't it?
Yes.
The equivalent.
Let's not go there. Because we just.
I think the breakdown was, we'd mentioned boarding school. I got sent to boarding school at 7 years old, and I think when you get sent away at 7, like it's so young that you cannot process it. Like when it happens, like you sort of experience this loss of kind of everything that you know, family, home, pets, brother, like just, you know, everywhere, and then you suddenly find yourself in like a weird, slightly scary institution where there's no one to like care for you. And I think it's such a, like that moment is so traumatic, like really is the, you know, is the word, that you just bury it, like it gets buried. I think it's just like childhood survival mechanism of like just, I think children are very good at coping with stuff that's overwhelming at the time, and you can cut it off. And then it came back at like 30 years old, it just.
Did you think that was the...
That was it, I felt like a child.
Did you have therapy?
It was very, I was having sort of therapy around it, and it was like, you know, I just started having these emotional like flashbacks, and I just felt like a child. I felt like a scared, lonely 7-year-old child. And it was also, I knew what it was well, because I'd never cried. I don't think I cried from like the age of 7. I was like completely shut down until about 30. And then when that like breakdown started happening, I just started crying. I cried non-stop for about 2 years.
Seriously?
It was just endlessly. But it was like in this sort of, it was so apparent that there was this like child. It's just that idea of like the inner, you know, the sounds so weird, the inner child. But it's like there's a child that's sort of trapped in there that didn't get kind of cared for, you know, really. You're in an institution.
But we're in the institution, the boarding school, do they now, or do they then? They didn't offer any emotions?
I think now there's more emotions. Well, there was none. There was like no, you know, you didn't have one conversation about like how, you know, how are you doing, how are you coping? But there's no, and I also like, I completely get this, and I get why I guess people don't talk about it, because first of all, like, no one gives a fuck about posh people. But I think that's kind of
into that. But I mean, boarding school, you automatically think there's
privilege. You know, it's so wrapped up with privilege.
Oh, I forgot to say, if you're liking this episode, because I'm going to put this bit in the middle of the episode about liking the episode, then like and subscribe. Do you know about all that stuff? social
What?
media, like and subscribe. It's the big thing.
I'm a massive social media novice. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Ben Bridgeman, like and subscribe. We were talking about privilege. You have come.
My privilege? Nah,
Privilege. What do you mean by
just
privilege, Ben?
normal background, normal family life, Steve. Don't know what you're talking about.
Go on.
I do not know where you're getting at.
You're doing on stage. You're doing on stage
I
now.
do, but there's a way of like, it's so okay. My dad is a lord.
Oh, you said Earl.
An earl. He is. Well, it's the same thing.
Is it the
a
same
lord?
thing?
An earl. Yeah.
What is the difference?
Okay, I have to say as well. Let's wrap it up in this. I know it's all made up nonsense, kind of, but he is technically an earl.
Right. Technically.
Well, I guess he just is. Well,
Yes.
he says he is. He acts like he is one.
But you said you were there. Yes.
Definitely, when I was growing up, other people acted like he was one.
Right. How do you act?
Up there. Well, it's so weird. Like it's. What was really weird was I grew up in Shropshire.
Yeah.
But also he had a restaurant in London. So he had like these two personalities of like up in where he had like land where he was the earl, the local sort of lord. Everyone addressed him by his title. Yeah, he was Lord Bradford. Everyone goes, right, my lord, right, my lord. How you doing, my lord? Yeah. I feel bad doing an accent. I'm not supposed to. But then he would come down to London and he would be Richard, and it was like there were these two where his sort of history was like, he acted this part of the local nobleman. I know these are all silly words. Okay, it's not. I'm not saying like if I say like the aristocrat. Like I know it's all nonsense. Okay, but it seemed very real when I was young.
But it is
Of
real.
course. Well, I was a kid, and it was like, you grow up in a.
And you knew nothing else.
I knew nothing else.
But you're the youngest of. Are you the youngest of the siblings?
I'm the youngest son, third son.
And you don't have to go into it, but you were kind of saying it's a very different between the first
Yeah, it's
son.
a very, it's a sort of
very
hierarchical
Hierarchical's the word.
sort of system. The term is like primogeniture, which means the oldest will inherit a lot. Okay, I'm fine, but
Yeah, you were saying, but it's still.
you were saying that, but still,
Was it? Do you think the darkroom side of things, the addiction, was? Did your siblings have the same problem, or is it? Or it?
some like other sort of issues, but there's. This is like the other thing of like maybe I want to sort of talk about of seeing the like mental health issues like just do not discriminate at all.
No.
It's like that side of my family, like that incredibly privileged side who grew up I actually didn't grow up in a stately home. That was lost sort of a generation ago.
Oh really?
This is a comedy. What am I talking about? So yeah, that was like when my grandfather died. My dad gave it to the nation. Okay, in way of paying taxes.
Oh okay.
So it's like open to the public.
Oh okay.
And
It's a completely
yeah,
different world.
but so they grew up in that, but like my aunt, just terrible mental health, like across the board. Like I had an aunt who committed suicide at 50, definitely addiction as well. Bipolar sort of people, like definitely schizophrenic. It's like, but I think as a rule the aristocracy are completely mental.
Well,
Like I think there's a lot of them very eccentric. I think eccentricity is a very handy way of hiding severe mental illness, or it's one expression of it. I think you're safe if you channel it into like, just fucking wear a peacock hat or whatever, and be a mad sort of posh person. It's the ones who like try and it's the more serious ones, like they're the dangerously depressed and.
Yeah. But how do you? But you can't break the cycle unless you get rid of the aristocracy, which.
Yeah, get rid of it completely. No, honestly.
Let me just press this.
Don't tell my brother that.
Ben Bridgeman. Sir Ben Bridgeman.
Shut up. Do you want to know? I do have a title.
Do you?
Well, I guess it's called a courtesy title.
What is it?
The Honourable. Like there's one on the Charlotte. it's just so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, the younger siblings, the younger children of can.
Right.
I don't use it. Of course, I don't
No.
use it. Sometimes an official letter will
This is the
turn
thing
up
you
from
want.
like where it's sort of it has the on and on. But no, I use Mister. Because it's
Oh,
stupid.
it's all
Want everyone to
last
know that
one.
I think it's stupid.
But yeah, you're making that point. It's all right.
Okay, I'm going to make it again.
Best gig.
Best gig. I think the one I enjoyed the most was Hot Water. Like back in,
Yeah.
that was like back in 28, maybe 17, up in Liverpool. I think I was just so surprised that they liked me.
And how?
I think I thought they were going to hate me.
Why was it so good?
I turned up. I don't know, it was probably also like the best club I had done at the time, and it was, Paul Smith was emceeing, so the crowd was sort of whipped up. And I guess it was the first couple of years that Hot Water was really a thing. I think there was like such a sort of energy around that
Worst
place.
gig.
Worst gig was, I think, Hull. And why? I'd gone up to, I'd done the whole comedy lounge, and had I done a competition there? I don't know about it, and then got invited back for a spot on a night, and it was Valentine's night, which I guess is also, which is probably not usually great, if like, tables of couples sort of in, and it just didn't go well. Like, it just didn't go well.
But they stared
They
you out.
didn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like a horrific. It wasn't like a horrific day, but it didn't.
That's not a bad gig story. I mean, I've had some shockers, as in people coming in.
One in
I've had shockers.
maybe the biggest death was a mirth gig in was it Trowbridge or somewhere in Wiltshire.
And what happened? No,
One time.
But that's usually.
But again, I also don't think it was nothing. I don't think I've ever. No, I'm not saying. Of course, I'm not
No, it's all right.
saying that. Like, well, there's a bomb. There's a bomb. There's a bomb.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had death, like complete silence for a whole. And I've but I definitely remember like Hull. I remember like driving back over like the Humber Bridge, and I was like, I could just a little like woo, off the side.
Well,
Like, I felt low.
because of your upbringing, what would you do if you weren't doing comedy? I mean, you've got other things going as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
But if would you do comedy full time if you could do comedy full time? If
Yeah.
the circuit allowed you, that would be your thing.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there a dream job that you would have otherwise?
I'd be like a farmer. It's such a like
Seriously?
sort of posh cliche. Yeah, I love growing stuff.
That's
I do. If it was funny, if I reckon I could. If in fact, there's a part of me that loves complete calm. Do I mean like immersed in the natural world, or it feels like comedy is this like it feels like it's the opposite part of that. There's two super contrasting sides to like the part of me that sort of wants nothing, that doesn't want to be hungering after like
fame.
attainment,
Right.
sort of being special, getting attention, validation. So like I said, I've been in recovery for like 16 years. Recovery, the 12 steps are, I guess, framed as this like sort of a spiritual program. It's about like how do I find calm? How do I find calm like inside me? How do I have a settled mind and soul? So meditation is often a big part of it. For like years, I was like a very dedicated. TM was what I did first for like a number of years, and then I kind of fell more into like a normal mindfulness sort of vipassana, and was like had this very dedicated practice that then went completely out the window over the pandemic, and I actually struggled to bring it back. But I was so.
Why do you think that? That's an interesting.
It's such a weird time for it to, what you think when there's nothing going on. And,
So why do you think you lost it there? The spirit meditation side of it.
but I think maybe I locked down in like a new relationship,
Right.
and was in a small. I felt like I had this sort of space for it, but also I hadn't really ever lived with anyone,
Right.
and I think that just stressed me out a lot. Okay.
Could you see yourself now, or you're calmer now? Is it? What?
Well, it's funny. I've been trying to get it back, and actually it's only in the last few days that I've started doing like little bits. But I think there's this like annoyed that I had this like that it just this practice that disappeared, and there's this kind of like, well, I want that back. Why can't I have? But I think I realised recently you just need to start again at the beginning. Right. So I've been doing some very short little, actually just literally over the last few weeks of like 6 minutes one day, and it's like, okay, we'll do 8 minutes. Good for starting any kind of thing. Like, don't like break it down into like small, manageable, non-overwhelming. Yeah. Sort of, you know, where you can't be like, oh, I'm fucking, you know, you try. I think it's like you try and do 20 minutes, like, oh, I can't do it, and, you know, and then it's like you get annoyed and sort of stop. So like, do little things.
By the way, you're not wearing a watch, are you? Because I do this thing where I love watches, and I'm wearing.
Not wearing a watch.
Because you're quite from that side of things. I got sent this watch from Nomos, which is quite a dainty watch, but it's an amazing. One of the most beautiful watches I think I've ever worn is a Nomos, which is a very famous brand, and they've sent it to me to wear. I think I might have to give it back, but just for now, it's very sleek, beautiful. I'll put the specs down below. This is the Nomos Tetra. Look how thin that is. It's just such a nice watch. So beautiful. I don't think I've seen a more beautiful watch. Nomos. Love my watches. I'll tell you off camera how much this matters, or it doesn't matter for you because you've got.
Sure. My only what I got. Was it my 18th? My mum or parents got me a Cartier
tank.
No, it wasn't a tank. It was a new model at that sort of time. I guess like 20 years ago. It was like a rubber and metal strap. So it was like this more, I guess, sort of modern looking Cartier watch. And then I lost it.
No.
I lost it before I got sober on a night out.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was probably in a blackout and it got stolen. And then I got an insurance payout, and I got a tank.
You did get one?
Was it a tank, or it was the rectangular,
the
rectangular one?
Very
I got that, but I got that because I got the insurance payout. Again, this is before I got sober, and I knew if the tank was slightly cheaper than it, so I knew, okay, I'll get the tank and I'll spend the rest on drugs. And then the tank, at the end of a night out, I think going back, I was living in Arsenal. I got a taxi, and I wanted to go into a newsagent's to go and buy some more booze before going home. And I gave the tank to the driver as collateral, because I also didn't have any money. And the driver left when I was in the shop.
Did you just say?
In the shop. So the tank went as well. And then after I got sober and I'd saved a bit of money, I bought back the original watch. Obviously not the original, but the same sort of model. So I thought like, oh, that'd be a nice thing to do. And I don't wear it.
Tour with? Favourite comedian?
Is he my favorite? I don't know if he's my sort of favourite comedian.
Who are we
But we were talking about before, like Mark Maron, so the guy who's got podcast WTF.
Yeah.
I think it's just from like hearing the arc of his life over the last sort of 16 years since he started that sort of podcast. So I don't know, it'd be good to like tour with him, being this weird, like, you know, you're this kind of person who's like feel like you sort of know. To us, it'd probably be awful for him.
But isn't that the same?
To have somebody who
a lot of famous people, you think you know them if they've opened up that way.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of podcasters have actually said that it's a problematic part of the relationship if like all these people have this sort of parasocial relationship with you where they come up to you thinking that they know you, and you know, obviously it's a pretty sort of one-sided thing. But the Maron, because we've got recovery in common, so he's like a sober guy in recovery, and I don't know, like a lot of his stand-up is very emotionally sort of revealing. Like he really sort of bears himself. Yeah. You know, and his podcast also, you know, it's like, you know, he likes getting into sort of, I guess, deeper. Oh, it started to sound really sort of wanky.
Because it's about photography, I take photographs, Ben. Have you got a favourite photograph? It could be of you, your family, it could be of a famous photograph that you've just kind of taken your fancy.
My favourite photo is of me, and it's me when I guess I'm probably like 3, sort of in it, and it feels, it's in this, it was in Spain, and it's in this sort of frame that's like a fabric sort of, I think it's got maybe animals on it, it's sort of padded sort of fabric frame, and it's only because like I've also got this really sad look on my face in it, like kind of really sad. And I only say because we talked about, you know, so when I had that breakdown, this photo, you know, we talked about that, like it became apparent that there was like this young part of me that was that was kind of behind the breakdown, that there was this, you know, unaddressed, sad childhood sort of part. So this photo, like I sort of used it as, I guess, like a representation of that child. So it was oh my God, talking about it, it's so.
Is it a happy photo? I mean, you were saying it was a sad. Do you regard that as when you were happy?
No, more it was like, it was just through that breakdown, like when I was trying to get better, like I was, you know, going through let's call it a process of like, you know, the term is like reparenting. It's like, you know, because it was around, you know, being sent to boarding school at sort of 7, it was like, okay, there was this kind of damaged little child. So I sort of used that photo to bring to mind, okay, this is the part of me that I'm now looking after. It was like, you know, this is the part of me that's, let's say, trapped inside emotionally because, you know, it was unaddressed at the time. And that's the part that needs to be taken care of now. There's this scared, it's just this idea of like there are all these selves inside of us. Our childhood is as much a part of us, you know, in adulthood, as, you know, it informs a lot of just how we react to the world. Stuff triggers memories, whatever. So anyway, so it was just good to have this image of myself to like care for. I guess also, but that's the probably, you know, when you're doing this like sort of therapeutic sort of work, if you don't have like a natural, a lot of people can be very self-shaming and like it's hard to be nice to, you know, sort of to yourself, and to, I guess, have the required sort of, God, this is getting so deep. But I think it's normal. Like a lot of people, can have, they feel terrible. I don't think it's unusual for people to then add like shame on top of that, of like, don't be stupid, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get your shit together, grow up. Usually is, like, let's be honest, like those are voices that there probably were in your childhood. It's like, so to have like an image of yourself, no, okay, so there is this kind of childhood part that needs taken care of, to be able to really sort of, just having a photo of myself at that age brought it more to, like, it was easier to sort of recognize sort of that part. And I could, yeah, it just sort of helped me like be nice to myself.
That is honestly a really lovely answer. I'm happy with that. That's great. Fantastic. So Ben, this is a bit of a new thing on my little thing now, is to ask, which I shouldn't be that new because it's about comedy or comedians, is a joke. Do you have a favourite joke of yours, or one you've heard you think, oh, I like that joke, wish I'd written that?
Okay, the one I heard. So, just saying a second ago, I never remember bits, really, like all full jokes. Like as a kid, even I could never remember, like, you know, jokes to retell them. But I watched this play with Simon Russell Beale, great actor, like really good sort of stage actor, and it was a comedy play, and there was just a line in it where he goes, my dear, the opposite of comedy is not tragedy. The opposite of comedy is Germany.
That's great.
Which I just thought was like it's so good. Like it's like Germans aren't funny. Is the implication.
But that.
Well, it's like Germans aren't funny. I found this because I I went to drama school with a German guy. I remember we were talking about this. It's the way the German language is structured.
Yeah.
The way I guess they have like the, I'm not going to be able to sort of explain it properly, but they can't structure a joke the way we do because their sentence structure is that it's hard to have like a setup and a punch because I think the subject has to come sort of first, so they find it very hard. This could sound, does that, am I being incredibly xenophobic? But there is something about the language structure of German that makes traditionally the way they tell jokes hard to translate into English.
I have noticed as I've been shooting you that you're not tattooed up, but you do have one.
I've got one
tattoo. Let me get that. Let me just take a photograph of that. And one is Roman numerals.
Very meaningful.
What is the
tattoo?
Meaningful.
Roman numerals. Well, so it would be meaningful if I had actually gotten the date right.
That's brilliant. That makes it slightly comedically.
So.
That's great. What go on?
So what this should be is it's supposed to be my sobriety. So when I got sober, so the day I went to rehab. If anyone knows Roman numerals, okay, so I went to rehab on the 21st of October 2008. This says 21st of September. And that is because I did not check what number month October was before tattooing it on my arm. I thought that October was the 9th month. And if I had taken the time to count through the months, I would have realised that was wrong.
But that's still very, very meaningful though, isn't it? Even in that explanation.
I kind of like the fact that I got it wrong.
Absolutely.
I actually didn't know until about 6 months later when my dad looked at it. He goes, you know that's not when you got sober. And I was, sorry what? He was like, that's the wrong Roman numeral. And I was, for a very short period, I was quite distraught and angry. And then I thought, no, that's good.
So Ben, I always do a selfie at the end. So I don't know how to film it myself, but does that look right? I've got to put the camera on first, one way around. I'm really bad at selfies, here you go. Thanks, mate. It's
Thank you.
We had a great photo shoot, but I got a great photo, but that was a really fascinating. You are fascinating. Thanks, mate.
The love and the lies, the calm and the chaos. Adventure is waiting, dreams for the taking, it's all in view. The tension and ease, the wild and free, the moment.